Hi. You're probably wondering, why am I in my bedroom? Well, we're here to talk about that dreaded 2 to 4 a.m. wake-up call, where you wake wide awake. You're ready to start your day, but realistically, you know, I shouldn't be getting up at this time. Your mind is racing, your to-do list is starting, and you just feel so unsettled. You cannot get back to sleep no matter what you try. You are not alone. I hear this every single week from my midlife women. In fact, it's one of the most common symptoms, especially sleep disruptions, that we have as midlife women in perimenopause. And there are specific hormonal and metabolic reasons for it. And in response to that, there are specific strategies that we can implement to help resolve it. That's the good news. So let's first talk about the three main reasons of why do you wake up between 2 and 4 in the morning. Number one is cortisol. Our cortisol timing shifts. So cortisol and melatonin are our wake and sleep hormones, and they align with our natural circadian rhythms. What does that mean? Cortisol rises with daybreak, with sunrise, typically about 30 to 45 minutes after we wake for the day. And then melatonin, our sleep hormone, peaks at night, so preparing us for a restorative sleep time. However, in perimenopause, we are less stress resilient, and so that can shift when our cortisol peaks. And so that's where we wake seemingly for the day at 2 to 4 a.m., but we know that's not realistic. So we toss and we turn, and then the alarm starts to go off, 6, 7, 8, whenever you wake up, and you're like, snooze, 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 because you're exhausted by then, because now cortisol has started to come down when it should really be coming up at sunrise. Now, this does not mean your cortisol is going to be high throughout the day. In fact, in perimenopause, the reverse happens. We have this reverse and inverse pattern where we should have high cortisol in the morning, but by the time, with that shift, it's actually lower by the time you're going to get up. So it's harder to get out of bed and start your day. But then at night, now it starts to peak again. And we have more of that second wind. So it's hard to fall asleep. And then we have that 2 to 4 a.m. wake-up call because that cortisol has shifted on when it rises. And no matter what we try to do, we cannot fall back asleep. Second reason is progesterone drops. So in perimenopause, estrogen drops about 35% compared to progesterone dropping 75%. And when you're under stress, which we're less stress resilient in perimenopause, doesn't take much to send us over the edge, we are going to drop that progesterone even more dramatically because we have to take progesterone to make cortisol. Progesterone is your calming hormone. It's your sleep supportive hormone, so that won't help. Third reason is metabolic. Your blood sugar drops in the middle of the night. Now, why does this happen? As estrogen starts to decline in perimenopause, that reduces our blood sugar stability, and it can drop at that 2 to 4 a.m. time. And that is a stressor. So when your blood sugar drops low, your body responds. It's going to increase the release of cortisol and adrenaline to save the day, but that's your stress response. So again, you wake, you're ready for the day, even though you're not getting up at 3 a.m. And why does this happen? So why do we see that blood sugar drop? Oftentimes because we're not eating enough, or we're not eating enough carbohydrates, or we're eating too early at night and too light. We don't have enough fuel to get us through the day. All of these things are tactics that we've learned in regards to how do I manage my weight gain? How do I manage that meno belly? And so we over-restrict, which in and of itself is a stressor. So you can see that all of these things are intertwined hormonally and metabolically. So what do? Number one, we've got to stabilize our blood sugar. So we got to make sure that we're getting adequate nutrition in 3 nutritionally balanced meals. Your most stabilizing nutrient is protein. So start and prioritize your protein at each meal. 25 to 35 grams, depending on your size. Have lots of fiber. That's going to come from colorful non-starchy vegetables, beans and legumes, a little bit of fresh fruit, a little bit of whole grains with one ingredient, and make sure you have enough healthy fats to also sustain that blood sugar. Things like avocado and olives, nuts and seeds, extra virgin olive oil. Make sure, number 2, that you're not under eating, because again, we're trying so hard to combat the weight gain and the weight gain shift that we over restrict our calories and we over exercise. And that can plummet that blood sugar in the middle of the night, creating that wake up call. So focus on what we just talked about, blood sugar stability and 3 nutritionally balanced meals. Make sure that you're eating dinner 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Because if you're eating too early, you're going to have a better chance of that blood sugar dropping. So you want to make sure you have enough nourishment coming in to get you through the night. Don't fast more than 12 hours right now, because again, in perimenopause, we're not as stress resilient. If we fast too much, too long, that can be a stressor. So give yourself just 12 hours of fasting from dinner to the next breakfast. And then also focus on number 3, calming your nervous system. So with this, we know we're less stress resilient, so we have to intentionally and purposefully implement recovery-based activities into our day. That means creating white space in your calendar, giving yourself some self-care time, giving yourself downtime. Outsource tasks and responsibilities, but especially in that time between dinner and bedtime. What are you doing? What do we do as women? We do chores. We get on devices because it's finally our time to sit and watch our shows. We're possibly working on our computers. We are doing so many different things, maybe because that's our downtime, but it's not necessarily the downtime that's going to support our sleep. So what we want to focus on is something calming and something tech-free. So what I encourage you to do is implement, maybe start with just 30 minutes, but try to extend to a 60-minute digital detox before you go to bed. So turn off all of the devices, because even if it's a blue light blocking filter on your device, it's not going to completely eliminate that, and any type of blue light is going to trigger that cortisol response. So do something calming. Maybe it's an Epsom salt bath with some lavender oil in there. Light reading. You can see maybe on our bedside tables we have books. So read a physical book or magazine. Light material. You don't want to read anything too heavy where it's going to be disturbing and you're not going to fall asleep, or you're going to have a nightmare and that's going to wake you up. Keep it light. Also, think about your lighting. Dim the lights. If you want, I don't know if you can tell, the lights that we have, the lamps that we have in our bedroom have amber colored light bulbs, or you can use amber colored glasses at night. So the amber color will block that blue light. So maybe you do want to watch your favorite show for a little time before you do your digital detox. And then just make sure when you're in bed, it's as dark as possible. Because if you can see your hand in front of your eyes, when you open your eyes, it's not dark enough. Because any type of light, even through closed eyes, can stimulate cortisol. So maybe room darkening shades or an eye mask, because we got to be safe. If you get up during the night to use the restroom, if it's too dark, you could stub a toe, you could fall. We don't want you to injure yourself. So be safe on what you do. So in summary, know that this 2 to 4 a.m. dreaded wake-up call is very common, but it's not normal, and it's not something for you to ignore. So really realize that this is a call for something. Your body needs more nourishment. It needs proper, well-balanced nourishment. It needs less stress, more stress resiliency, more safety. So we need to figure out what your body needs to help you. And with that, if this resonates with you and you feel like, oh my gosh, you totally touched it on the button, share it with a friend, comment below, subscribe to my channel, offer me some suggestions on what you want to learn about next. And this is something that we do talk about in my Menopause Mastery Program, which is a membership, or my 12-week Menopause Transformation Program. So very structured education, implementation, really finding out what your body needs during this time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.